Hello and welcome to another day in the adventures of owning an old BMW. So as you can probably see from the title, this issue is with a stuck bonnet. Just to explain what was happening is that I was trying to tidy up the engine bay. I've bought like new gas lifters for the bonnet and the boot, or hood and trunk for all our American friends. And I bought like some new sound insulation, just generally tidying it up. Sort of this area was all like covered in grease and oil and dirt, so I've taken the pins off, I've taken the latch off just to clean it all out. Sorry if there's cars driving by. And it seems like when I've reassembled it, I've like greased all these, put them back together, and I think these are adjustable, so they kind of move around on this plane, and I must have misaligned it, so when they locked in here, basically I tried to open the bonnet, it was like a little bit stiff, but it opened, so I've shut it again, and then I went to reopen it again, and basically nothing was happening. I pulled the handle, nothing's happening. This side released, but this side was like stuck. It was getting late, I was just getting a bit frustrated, so I was trying to yank the bonnet, but that wasn't working, so I thought I'll leave it till next morning. Got up, had a look. The first thing I did was take the interior handle off, and I realized as soon as I'd taken it off is that it snapped here on the release handle. Now this is a new part I've just picked up from the BMW dealer. It was like £22 or something, so it actually was pretty reasonable. So I knew immediately, so that was the issue there, it snapped. So then, okay, how do I actually get the bonnet open? Now, there's a few videos on YouTube where people are talking about the issue. In either case, you're gonna have to rip the grille out. So, assuming you can rip the grille out, it looks like mine is actually broken, and the previous owner perhaps had just put like gasket sealant and they've just glued it in place. So I've just ran like a Stanley knife through there to just like release it a little bit. Anyway, one guy on the video sort of said, okay, well, it saves you from like trying to mess around. You can literally get like a reciprocating saw in here and just literally cut through the pin. I thought that was like a little bit extreme. I didn't really want to go down that route. I thought I'll just try and some other methods. Another guy said that there's just enough room here where you can actually get a ratchet with a Torx bit onto these bolts and basically undo the bolts. Now what he was using is he bought like a really small micro ratchet, and it comes with like very short Torx bits, and when the bonnet is like in the closed position, you just have enough room to like fit a ratchet in here and basically just undo the two bolts. The other issue you've got is like where the latch is here, so the actual lock is sort of inside this whole assembly. So the lock is like there, but there's very little access from underneath, because obviously this being a fairly modern car, everything is just covered in some kind of plastic covers everywhere. So there's this panel here, but then it overlaps another panel. So I'm not going to, it's difficult to show here, but basically I just jammed the screwdriver in there, levered one panel away from the other, and you just, there was like a rubber skirt, again I've just ripped that off, and it just gives you kind of enough room. And one of the videos, another user on YouTube has suggested to basically unbolt the pin. Now luckily these have a 4mm Allen opening at the end, so you can get a 4mm Allen key or Allen bit on the end of it, and then obviously they're threaded here, so you can literally just undo them. So this is exactly what I did with the bonnet in the closed position. Is you can kind of use one hand to push this plastic panel away, and then with the other hand trying to feel the ratchet and the bit to fit into this opening and just slowly undo it. Bear in mind that these seem to be very easy to round off. I almost rounded mine. It seems like it's, you know, it gripped enough just to undo it, but it seemed like it's very too easy to round them off. And then from there, yeah, as soon as that popped open, I managed to get the bonnet lifted. So that's, you know, issue solved. I'm now gonna have to try and fit the new cable in there. It seems like from here onwards it's fine, because like I can actually pull the cable and these are both releasing on both sides. So it's just a case of trying to feed the cable all the way down in there. This is a right-hand drive UK car, so you've got the ABS here, the, you know, the master cylinder, so like everything's in the way, very little access. So it's going to be a lot of swearing coming up when I try and fit it, but hopefully that'll get sorted. But it'll give you an idea at least what possibly to do. Maybe a preventative advice would be maybe get these, I mean, you can get like an adjustable spanner on here and literally undo the whole thing and just put some, you know, copper grease or something on the end of those threads, because like if you do end up in a situation where you know, the cable snaps or something and you're having to try to fiddle around with like undoing these, maybe, you know, having copper grease on there would just help with removing them where you know that they're not going to be stuck, because obviously if they haven't been removed for like, you know, 20 years since the car was manufactured, chances are they're going to be a bit rusted and possibly stuck. So yeah, maybe have a think about taking them off and maybe greasing them up a little bit so that they're easier to remove if you're end up in that kind of situation. So that'll be my advice. So yeah, hopefully that explains a little bit about how to go about fixing it if you know, in that stuck position. So cheers.